There has been a decline in NBA viewing after Caitlyn Clark was ousted from the playoffs. The number of people watching the WNBA playoffs has dropped by over 80%. Attendance was cut in half and nobody watched. Does the story go beyond Wilson's claims that Clark's admirers bullied him? The media named Wilson the league MVP. Since Wilson is playing the victim, let's look at her statements. The Las Vegas Aces, the reigning champions and former WNBA powerhouse, lost in the playoffs. Many fans were shocked when AIA Wilson, the team's finest player and three-time MVP, fell in the second round, even though they knew what was going to happen. Wilson shocked everyone by saying, "It's hard. It's really hard. And I love my team so much that I will take any it from them after the loss. I would be a tremendous addition to my team and to our franchise, since excellence starts with me." Consistency. Few people are exceptional at everything, but everybody can be exceptional at anything once in a while. I'm determined not to go back, even though I desire it. It always starts with me because I have to pull your S up for 11 other women in that locker room. In a shocking turn of events, Wilson said she was being harassed by Caitlyn Clark followers. Yes, a young basketball fan believes that an MVP is being treated unfairly. Even if this is the larger picture, the league is still feeling the effects of the shock. In this story, is Wilson truly the victim, or is she hiding something from us? Wilson does bring up this point. A more important question is why millions of WNBA fans abruptly lost interest in the playoffs. The solution lies with Caitlyn Clark, the rookie star who astonished the basketball world with her incredible skills and charming personality. She brought women's basketball to a whole new audience during her brief appearance in the WNBA playoffs, giving the league unheard of recognition. The Fever against Swami 2, featuring Caitlyn Clark, drew 3, attracted 400,000 views, surpassing the 2023 WNBA playoffs total viewership. To put it mildly, the ratings have shifted since Caitlyn Clark left the Indiana. The Aces versus Liberty game drew an average of 9,290 viewers on Sunday, which is a decent number for the WNBA. On an NFL Sunday, though, the number was down almost 50% from the thrilling Sun game previous Sunday. Both the ratings and the attendance rates were dropping. But everything that rises has to fall, as they say. The league and its stars were taken aback by the shocking dip in Lynx Sun Series attendance and the 50% drop in Aces Liberty Series ratings after Clark's squad was fired. It was as if someone had turned off Clark's spotlight. WNBA, this sudden drop in popularity was a sign that the league's success had grown unduly dependent on one player. But it's not only about Caitlyn. It's also about what she stands for, giving spectators an exciting, fast-pacing, and fun basketball experience. And playing fair, skill-based basketball instead of reckless play and questionable officiating. Well-known players like Wilson, the three-time MVP and face of the Las Vegas Aces, found it hard to accept Wilson because he was playing in front of less people and getting negative reviews. The discrepancy in ratings was noticeable during Clark's games, even though she gave an excellent performance. Social media was ablaze with anticipation. The stadiums were packed and the atmosphere was electrifying. The playoffs didn't seem as exciting as they had been a few days ago, and she was gone. This sudden change in perspective has a profound effect on the league's established hierarchy, and not just in terms of numbers. Wilson, who had been the center of attention for years, was suddenly overshadowed by a rookie who is no longer playing. That would test even the prestige of the current MVP. But things got tricky earlier in the season when Wilson made some offensive comments about how privilege affects women. Reminds me a lot of you, like you say, you're not really about me if she knows how her privilege of having that H off. Feel like she's good at B, like understand, call the top. Remind me a lot of you and I, she said. This was perceived by many as a barely disguised jab at the future league star. Even if the comments caused a stir at the time, you believe they have reignited interest among all-time collegiate players. Oh, that's tough because you've got to win one. I feel like that college is one of those places where you've got to win one to even have your name in the conversation. It took me 3 years to win mine, so it's hard. But congratulations to her. Given the drop in ratings, Wilson's comments seem to be preemptive attacks against a threat she foresaw. As if sensing a change in the tide, she rushed to pass Clark for the top spot in the league. Right now, Wilson finds himself in a challenging situation as the playoffs go and viewership drops. The fans she seemed to hate early in the season are desperately needed by the league. This is a great example of the saying, be careful what you wish for. Thus, we arrive at Wilson's latest statements on being hounded by supporters of Clark. Does a player under pressure in a shifting environment genuinely care about this, or is it a reaction to feeling unappreciated and an attempt to recapture the attention that has been taken away from her? The problem is that if your scenario materializes, Jason, and the ratings keep dropping, I think this needs to be looked at. When the championship game draws near, which other sports league is seeing a drop in viewership? Actually, that would make the case stronger. The solution is not straightforward. Online harassment is a severe problem that affects a lot of powerful people on the one hand. However, Wilson's earlier comments criticizing Clark and her privilege cast doubt on these assertions. It's hard not to associate her bad past behaviors with her current fears. The WNBA is undoubtedly at a pivotal moment. The league's weaknesses and potential for growth have been brought to light by the Caitlyn Clark effect. There are risks. Women's basketball has been shown to have a substantial fan base. This audience demands exciting, fair play where players and umpires are held to high standards so that they can focus on the action on the court rather than the drama off it. Now let's talk about the fever on an amazing season. I don't think anyone expected them to make it to the playoffs. After a 1-8 start, they had a fantastic second half of the season. The WNBA has been transformed by Caitlyn Clark, but the Olympic break was greatly needed. Since she significantly enhanced the Indiana Fever's culture, the team's future seems bright. I'm glad Caitlyn Clark joined the WNBA so that fans could see what she brings to the table. It was amazing to see all year long. In addition, I'm eager to see what she has planned for the forthcoming season. Fans want excitement on the court, but some WNBA players seem more interested in fame off the court. However, what was the cost of the Las Vegas AC's amazing playoff run? The statistics shows a squad divided between Instagram likes and championship rings. Could this be the league's much-needed wake-up call? Becky Hammon, coach of the Aces, wasn't hesitant to express her displeasure with her team's performance. She stressed the need of attention and discipline, something her team lacked and which the New York Liberty demonstrated all season long. This comparison highlights the obvious difference between a team driven by atonement and one that could become distracted by the rewards of achievement. The whole league is furious. Off for the last 8 months, and my players are in commercials and being freaking celebrities, and you get distracted. The Aces' current sixth place standing, which is especially a reflection of their defensive issues this season, comes after they finished first in the league the previous season. Coach Hammond attributed this to a lack of effort and focus. Honestly, we haven't had the edge all year, he remarked. The team may have forgotten what made them successful in the first place. According to the coach's admission, the playoff games serve as an example of this idea. For example, Kelsey Plum, the AC's best player, had a bad game against the Liberty in Game 2. She only scored 6 points and missed 2 shots, so during the half, Hammond yelled at her. This episode shows how hard it is for a coach to see her best players struggle when it matters most, which is exactly what happened tonight. It was Aces versus Aces, and we were being truthful. In the most recent postseason game, the Aces shot a miserable 32%, which was indicative of the team's overall problems, 8%. Despite his MVP caliber play this season, Wilson was unable to change the outcome. We lost an absurd amount of layups, and Hammond's valuation was harsh. This remark highlights the extent to which the team's defensive discipline and attention had broken down. It's clear from Hammond's admission that we're not playing at the level needed to win basketball games, that the team has become overly accustomed to its current position and past successes. The coach's recognition that the group will probably change. The performance the following year will most likely reflect this lack of focus. Quite frankly, we haven't had the inch, said Hammond. Now that we've found it, I feel like we've gained a lot of ground, but the